If you have IRS issues, you've come to the right place. Welcome to our weekly Facebook Live chat. I'm here with enrolled agent Jordan Moran, and I'm Samantha, the marketing coordinator here at Sadler and Company. And a fun fact about us that you may not know. Here at Sadler and Company, we're the hometown tax experts, and actually Jordan and I both graduated from Northview High School. Go Knights. And we also both graduated from Indiana State University. Go Sycamores.
Wow, small world.
So we are definitely hometown, born and bred here.
That's for sure.
So today we're going to be talking about scams. Do you want to introduce? Sure. We're tackling an issue that affects everyone. Thousands of taxpayers have been scammed out of millions, and we wanted to go into some common scams and how to spot them and avoid them so that you are not victim to the same things. Darlinda joined us. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Darlinda's been a regular. That's awesome. Good questions as well.
So anytime you come across something that's fishy, you need to make sure that you ask an enrolled agent if you have questions. If you're not sure, Jared just shared our video. Thank you, Jared. We definitely appreciate it. So speaking of fishy, what are phishing scams exactly, Jordan?
Sure. I want to kind of reiterate a little bit on what Samantha said about IRS, or about scams and identity theft and things there. This is something that is much more prevalent in the last basically 1 to 2 years. Scammers have been becoming very sophisticated. They're calling you on the phone now, and they're even sending letters posing as the IRS. So just want to throw that out there. We'll go a little bit more in depth into that as we get through the chat here. But phishing is basically, it can be in the form of a website, that can be in the form of an unsolicited email there. We'll talk a little more about that. But it's basically to get you to go somewhere and to voluntarily give your personal and financial information. But it is not a legitimate website. It's not a legitimate social media chain there. So it's something that is meant to defraud you, basically.
Okay, so you said unsolicited. Can you explain exactly what unsolicited means?
Sure. Unsolicited is basically something, in the form of an email or phone call that you're not expecting. You didn't ask for it. This is something that, scammers are very, they're doing it a lot more now. They're intercepting emails. They're modeling emails. They're modeling IRS letters. So these are things that you're not expecting, and you definitely don't want to open them up if you don't know where it's coming from. So that automatically can give you a virus on your computer, and who knows what else, at this point, with as sophisticated as they are these days.
And it's also, the IRS has asked if you receive an email that's suspicious, that you think is a phishing email that's asking you for information, forward it to them at phishing@irs.gov, and that's phishing @irs.gov, and you can also get that email from their website, or you give us a call, we can give it to you.
Sure, I'll point out some of those things there. In regards to unsolicited, the IRS or state agencies, they will contact you only by mail or phone call. When they call you on the phone, they're going to identify themselves in the beginning. They're not going to automatically threaten you. They're basically not going to ask your name. They're going to know pretty much everything about you at that point. So, within the first minute or two of that phone call, you're probably going to know whether or not this is legitimate. And there are ways, like Samantha said, to report them. And as I said, it's getting very, it's happening a lot more and more these last couple of years. So the IRS and state agencies are coming up with ways there to report that. So there are ways to, get help. And then that's us as well as enrolled agents. We're certainly able to help.
We had some more people join us. Cool. Julia joined us, and Melissa. Jared has a question, kind of jumping into what we're talking about here.
Sure.
How will I know that communication is coming specifically from the IRS? And sure. Jordan just answered.
Yeah. So Jared, to answer your question, if it's by mail, like I said, the scammers are sending letters out now that look like IRS letters. So once again, this goes back to if you're not expecting to receive something, you got a refund on your return, and you're getting a letter saying that you owe $50,000, you certainly want to bring that into a tax preparer, certainly an enrolled agent there, and make sure that we identify that as legitimate. If you get one of them IRS letters that's non-legitimate, a normal taxpayer is not going to know the difference. They are very, very sophisticated. If they call you, they are going to identify themselves with a badge or an ID number over the phone. They're not going to ask for bank account information, personal information. They're not going to threaten that you're going to jail. You're going to jail tomorrow if you don't pay $50,000. Those are the types of things that we're seeing these days. And the numbers that I'm going to tell you are not exactly dead on, but I think it's around $20 to $25 million in the past couple of years they have collected from taxpayers who have just paid them because they were scared, they were afraid. So it's they're cleaning house, so to speak, on that.
And they just busted a large ring not too long ago, didn't they?
Right. Yes. So they're catching them. It will take time, but they will eventually get caught with what they're doing there.
But there's always new ones that
yes.
that take those
right.
they take the place of the ones that they catch. So
not going to go away.
So you talked about phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
If someone says that they're from the IRS and they call you, that you want to get their employee name, their badge number, a callback number, and then you can also call 1-800-366-4484 and give the it's an IRS number that you can give them all that information, the employee name, badge number, callback number, and they will tell you if that's legitimate or not.
Right.
And if you don't have that number, you definitely could give us a call, and
sure.
we can do those things for you, because it can be a little involved.
Right.
Trying to sort through.
Yeah. If you get into that situation where you have to call them or report, just because it's not going away or they're contacting you multiple times, you definitely want to get with, if it's tax related, get with an EA there and get some help. It will end up saving you money in the long run. One other thing that I quickly will advise, as far as if I think something's not legitimate, like a phone call, I will Google the phone number. If it's a scam, it's going to be within the first 2 or 3 sites that pop up, because there's almost 100% chance that it's happening to someone else as well.
And that's why it's important to help report the scam calls too, because then that helps alert other people
yes.
that that's a known scam.
Right. True. Very true.
So we talked about email. We talked about the IRS won't send you a message on Facebook. Believe it or not, they are not messaging through Facebook.
No.
But what if someone shows up at my house or comes into my work and says, "Hey, I'm from the IRS"? How do I know that's legitimate?
Yeah, you're definitely going to want to look for a badge or an official ID. The first thing I'm going to ask that person is, "Where's your ID?" I don't know of anyone, particularly that I've dealt with that's had that situation, but I'm sure, it may happen in the bigger cities, New York, California, things like that. So you definitely want to ask for some information there. If you don't feel right, I definitely wouldn't give them any information, unless they've identified themselves. If they don't have a badge, they're probably not legitimate there. So, and they also have what we call a HSPD 12 card. Don't really know a lot about what that looks like, guys, but for basics here, I would ask for ID. Have them identify themselves. Do you have an agent number? Hey, why are you coming to my home? Especially if it's unsolicited, like you're saying. If you're not expecting it, chances are it's not going to be legitimate.
And they're not ever going to threaten you, pay me right now, or do something.
Yeah, as I said, they're not going to demand things quickly. The IRS goes through a process. Most of it's generated by a computer system there. So if you owe tax, which we may have talked about this in one of the other Facebook Lives here, if you owe tax, you have time to pay it. You don't want to ignore them. So nothing happens fast with the IRS. It's 30 to 60 days out before anything really happens. Unless you've done something that is criminal and you know you've done it, then you're pretty much going to be okay and have time to take the proper action there.
Then it may be an FBI agent or someone like that you know. You're going to be able you still can ask for credentials.
Right, exactly.
But hopefully no one watching this podcast has ever.
Right, and one other thing I want to mention there, Right. The IRS does or is beginning to use outside collection firms there to collect the money. So just because it's an outside firm there, contacting you doesn't mean that the IRS isn't using them there. So if you have this situation, you just need to get help and make sure that you have someone knowledgeable that can help you out and has been in the situation and can properly advise you. For sure.
And another good red flag is if anybody demands that you pay anywhere other than the U.S. Treasury.
Right, yes. Anytime if you guys have ever owed the IRS, you make the check payable to United States Treasury. If they ask you to write it really to anyone else, they either don't know what they're doing if they're the IRS or they're a scammer.
Because even the outside collection agencies, they're going to have you pay.
Right, you're gonna write the check to United States
Treasury.
Treasury. Exactly.
So that's kind of an easy
Will not be
thing
a
to
problem.
remember.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I owe the IRS. I'm paying the IRS. I'm not paying John's collection agency.
Looks like Julia shared our video. Thank you very much. And we had Barbie join. Thanks for joining, Barbie. If you guys have any questions, feel free to type them in the comments. If you have a detailed tax question or something you don't feel comfortable asking here live, you can definitely email Jordan. We'll let him give his email address.
Email us jordan@sadlertax.com and phone number is 812-478-2800. I do want to mention one other thing that the Indiana Society of Enrolled Agents has kind of taken a step on, and that is the Just Hang Up campaign. If you get a call from one of these scammers and they're threatening you over the phone and they're asking for your bank account within the first 5 minutes of the call and they don't even know who you are when they call you, you need to just hang the phone up. Just hang up. Don't give them any info. Don't pay them anything. Don't give them anything they can use. Just hang up.
It's pretty easy to remember.
Right. It's okay to hang up on them.
So we have about 3 more minutes that we are going to be here live. So if you have any questions, make sure that you get them in. And we also wanted to talk, dealing with scams, we want to talk about tax relief scams. We've been talking about tax resolution, and often, unfortunately, when people get into tax problems, they start being victims of people trying to help them, and then they end up falling more behind and more in debt because they get scammed by these companies.
Right.
So one thing to watch out for if you are looking for a tax relief agency, no reputable company is going to demand a non-refundable upfront fee.
Right, and they will also have guarantees. If you don't have guarantees there, that's a red flag as well. If they want their money up front and they're not guaranteeing you anything or telling you what they're doing, if they don't give you some type of an engagement letter, that's a red flag.
So when you say engagement letter, can you
so
explain
engagement
that?
letter is basically with engagement letter at our firm, we're going to detail out what we're going to do for you exactly, line by line, step by step, and tell you the end result. If you don't have something like that, and as I said, that's probably going to be a huge red flag to you there, for sure.
So definitely know what to be expected.
Know what you're getting, exactly.
And then, so that goes into the other scam is misrepresenting potential outcomes. There's a lot of companies that claim they can do this and they can do that, and there's some things that just they can't do, right?
Yeah. If you see someone on TV get something in the mail, and they're promising that they can guarantee that your $100,000 balance will be zero at the end of the engagement with them, that can happen, but you're going to know a false promise when you see it. You need to get detailed out what's going on. How are you going to resolve my issue? What steps are you going to take? How much are you going to charge me? What do I need to give you? How do you protect my information? So just be very diligent in getting questions or answers to your questions, for sure.
And you said things with the IRS, it's not a quick thing. So if someone's telling you they can get it solved in 48 hours or something like that, that's obviously not
happening. They don't work that fast, as I told you earlier in the call. 30 to 60 days is minimum.
Another scam is a marketing company posing as a tax relief company. So something good to ask whenever you are going into or calling a place about tax relief, is to make sure they're actually going to be the ones doing the work. Correct. Because
Right.
there's a lot of places that just farm out your information to someone else and then they get
Right,
cut.
and that's a huge identity issue there. I mean, if you're giving my information out and I'm trusting you with it, I'm not going to be very happy. But it happens all the time.
Yeah, so that's definitely a reason to pick a firm that you can actually walk into and you know
Yes, hometown,
who you're
hometown,
talking
face to
there.
face. Yep.
And then there's the outright fraud.
Right. So these are people that these are the guys that are calling or people that are calling you over the phone demanding your financial information. We need your bank account now, or you're going to jail. The cops are coming to your house in 5 minutes. I mean, if you're telling me that over the phone, I pretty much know that you're not legitimate. But as I said, they've collected millions of dollars doing that exact same thing, and they're going to get more sophisticated. As I said, they're sending letters now. Who knows what's next. Be very diligent in watching your emails. Like I said, unsolicited. If you're not expecting to receive something, don't open it up, because as soon as you open it up, that opens you up to a virus, identity theft, all sorts of things there.
I think it's important to definitely let other people know, talk to your loved ones, warn them. If you have young children that have email, they get on your computer. I know sometimes there's people that aren't as familiar with how to use email and how to use websites. Maybe have that conversation with them to know what to look out for. And also phone calls. I know I've had a lot of elderly relatives that have received demanding phone calls and they're scared.
It is
someone's
scary.
yelling at you, telling you that the cops are going to come if you don't pay them. It's scary.
Very scary.
So definitely important to spread that. And that's why we decided to do this Facebook Live about scams, because it's such an important issue and affects everybody.
Yep, all of us, including Samantha and I, we're in that as well. We have to be just as diligent as you do.
And it's just like we mentioned in a previous Facebook Live that I received a letter saying that it was from the state of Illinois, and I had doubts, so I brought it in to Jordan because it was actually a secondary collection agency whenever we were resolving that whole mess. And actually, they called me first. They called my cell phone first, and that's what made me think that it was a scam.
Yep.
So.
Yep. So, in closing here, just want to, make sure that everybody's diligent on what they do. Remember the Just Hang Up campaign there. If you know it's not legitimate over the phone, if they do call you and you're able to get the phone number, sometimes it's blocked now. You'll see that the phone number is blocked. Google the number if you have it, and if it comes up as a scam and someone else has been, called from that number as well, then you can ignore it. You can ignore it. You will have plenty of time to respond to the IRS or the states there. In enough time to get your tax issue resolved if you have it, and just be very diligent there and careful as things are getting very, very sophisticated. And like I said, over the last couple of years, it's happened. It's almost doubled as far as what we see with phone calls during tax season and non-tax season there. So just be careful. And contact an enrolled agent. Contact a reputable tax firm there if you need help. Don't be afraid to help or ask for help. We're here.
All right, and definitely check out the Just Hang Up campaign. We share the videos from that, and I believe it's also linked on our website. So if you need more information about that, you can definitely check out the Indiana Society of Enrolled Agents.
If you need any more info on that, feel free to email me